From how to be mentally to how you should have your car, join me as I reveal to you some tips and tricks for being a good driver. Number 7. Mental state. Let's start out with something that a lot of people honestly forget about: your mental health. It may seem odd to think about how you think about driving, but when you consider what driving is, your brain is actually the most important thing to worry about outside of your reaction speed. And I'm not just talking about you remembering how to drive, though that is important, obviously. I'm talking about how you are emotionally. Your mood can be one of the greatest factors in determining how you drive, how quickly you get there, how dangerous you'll be on the road, and more. Don't believe me? Think about it. When was the last time you drove angry? You know, something bad happened at work or at home and it just ticked you off. And so you got into your car to go somewhere. How did it go from there? You were likely dodging and weaving through traffic like a madman, yelling at other drivers for not going fast, or going too fast, or not letting you cut over, and more. When you drive, you should be in as calm a state as you possibly can be. Because if you do that, you'll not only have a much more pleasant experience going wherever you need to go, but you'll also save on gas, which saves you money, which will obviously make you even happier. And if you don't believe me, the team over at Mythbusters dedicated half an episode to this test and proved it to be so. Thus, if you want a good time on the road and want to save money, don't drive angry. Number 6. Hands on the wheel. Sometimes, if you want the best tips to get through your situation in regards to being a better driver, it's best to fall back on the basics. And one of the first things you learn when you are in driving class or school is to keep your hands on the wheel. Now, depending on who you talk to or what website you're on, you'll find all sorts of logic in terms of why you should be at 10 and 2 or 9 and 3 or whatnot. But just like everyone has a type of car they love, it's fine that you have your own personal take on which hand position to use in the vehicle. But the key thing here is that no matter what the positioning is, you need to be sure that they're on the wheel. Why is that? Well, the steering wheel controls your car and what it does on the road. And while anyone will tell you that you can control the wheel with one hand, or even one finger, that's not a safe way to drive. Because if something happens and you need to be able to do a turn or a swerve, a single hand or a lone finger won't give you the control you need in order to move out of the way in time. Plus, if your hands are on the wheel, you won't find them wandering around the driver's space, which means you aren't distracted, which is also bad. Speaking of which, Number 5. Stay focused. Let's be honest here. When it comes to driving, we often get distracted at the smallest of things, whether it be the radio and what channel it's on, to the people we have in the car with us, to the area we are in that will catch our eyes and make them wander. That's a lot to distract us on the road, and that's a big problem, which is why you need to stay focused no matter what comes your way. It's another very basic tip, but it's one that can save your life whether other people want to admit it or not. Because in the blink of an eye, something can get in front of your car, and if you're not paying attention, it'll hit you before you ever see it coming, which means you and anyone in the car with you is at risk. Yes, this is a grim way of thinking, but it happens all the time, even to the most experienced of drivers. If you live out in the country, you have to worry about things like deer, which can hop onto the road in an instant because of their surprisingly fast speed. In the city, you have to worry about other cars, pedestrians, and even pets like dogs and cats. Being alert and focusing on the road ensures that your attention is where it needs to be, and that means that everyone in your care is protected. Sure, you can be alert and not react in time to something, but more times than not, you'll be able to prevent maximum damage. Now, that's not to say you can't have music in the car or you can't drive with anyone. Just have the music somewhat low and make sure your friends respect your driving and you'll be okay. Oh, and one more thing. Before we continue, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel so you can check out our weekly videos. Number 4. Stay off the phone. Technology can be a wonderful thing, And when it comes to the humble cell phone, it's a lifeline to get you out of trouble, as well as an information goldmine when you need to know something on the spot. But as recent generations of kids, adults have proven, it's a massive distraction. And despite it being illegal in many states and countries, people still drive while being on their cell phone. Obviously, this is the biggest distraction of the bunch, because if your eyes are on the cell phone, it's not on the road, and that can be disastrous from the word go. What's worse, some people will even take their eyes completely off the road while doing things like responding to a text or checking their social media status, and more. As noted, this is a bad idea as something can happen in those precious seconds that you are looking at your phone, and that can end up not just ruining your life, but ruining someone else's life. Do you really want that on your conscience? Now, there are some ways around it being a major distraction. The biggest one is having the phone on a stand, like the ones that connect to your windshield, or have it connected to your car's Bluetooth if you have it, because that'll free up your hands and eyes to focus on the road as long as you're not doing certain things with your phone. But even still, when it comes to city driving, barring you looking at a map, you should always have your eyes on the road. So do the smart thing. Keep your phone away from you unless you absolutely need it when you drive. Number 3. Respect the road. This may sound cliche, and you might think it lines up with the don't get distracted sections, but honestly, this is its own thing. While the road may not be alive, it is something that is very much active, and when you don't respect it, it won't respect you. For example, if you're on a highway and you're in such a rush to get to work that you weave in and out of traffic in such a way that you are putting people in danger, you're not helping anyone, and it'll likely get you hurt. It's okay to pass people, but make sure you do it the right way, by making sure you're not darting in front of someone, you're not insulting the driver you're passing, and so on. This also goes to minding the speed limit. Yes, we've all broken the speed limit, and at times it's actually legal to do so, like when you're passing someone on the road. But generally, you need to follow the speed limit, especially since police officers will pull you over because you don't. This goes double for high traffic areas like near big cities. Or how about construction areas? Or when there's roadwork being done in a certain spot? Respect them and the road and pull to the side they're not on. Then if you're restricted via full-on construction, lower your speed to be within their limits and mind what part of the road you can drive in. It sounds like a hassle at times, but when you respect the road, you're making yourself a better driver, even if there are plenty of other people who don't do the same. Number 2. Space between cars. This is another subjective thing, as people will tell you different things about how far you should be between cars in front of you, depending on where you are, the road, the speed limit, etc. But what all of these have in common is a simple truth. You need to make sure that there is a decent amount of space between you and the car ahead of you. In other words, don't ride them or get up in their grill. The reason for this is incredibly basic. The more space you have in front of you, the more time you have to react. You might think that a couple of seconds isn't enough time to react, but in a car setting, as long as you're paying attention, it is. Which is why most people will suggest that in a highway setting, you have about 2 car lengths between you and the person in front of you. True, sometimes this isn't possible, and that's okay. But when you can, you should try it, because it gives you the space you need to react. City driving is tough because of the very nature of winding through streets. But when you can, you should make sure you have a decent amount of distance between you. Sure, it might mean you have to go slower, but the alternative is much more grim. Number 1. Get a self-driving car. So you no doubt look at this list and go, but what if I don't want to do any of this? What if I want a simple solution that requires minimal effort? Well then, to you, my lazy friend, I suggest you get a self-driving car. No, I'm not joking. They do exist, and they are slowly becoming more and more tested so that they can indeed be used on the road today. Elon Musk and his former company Tesla are one such company trying to make this not only a thing, but something that everyone will eventually have. And the appeal is definitely there. If you have a car that is smart enough to mind the blind spots, understand when to weave in and out of traffic, and mind the speed limit, why not have one? It'd certainly take a lot of stress off your mind. Granted, it's likely expensive, but what's more important, your money or your free time in your car? That's what I thought. So if you want to have no stress on the road, get a self-driving car. You program where you need to go. It'll take you there, and you won't have to worry about a thing. And there you go, everyone. Some tips and tricks to make sure you are a better driver. Which of these do you already do on your own? Which ones are you going to try to do now? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.